was being a better listener, and not having that precept. Did you see the Pope when the Pope visited? You see that on TV? I thought that was incredible, and the groups of people who were chanting. I caught that. I was in Germany somewhere listening to this. I was seeing it on TV, and the imam who chanted, and the rabbi, the cantor who chanted, and the other. Those were powerful, powerful witnesses to the faith that were made. And that the Pope being there kind of allowed that to happen. I thought that was important. I thought that was very important. In our little settings in various airports around the world, if we could be the agents of that same thing, right? I thought that would be great. Anyway, thanks for the question. That was heavy duty. Yes?
Can you give us please 1% how the relationship is now with Muslims in New York? And what they did to keep it calm, to keep it peaceful, what changed in these years?
Yeah, and I think that's an ongoing situation. The imams that I know and that Pastor David knows here and others are people who are committed to that kind of dialogue. Okay? And there's black Muslims here in New York City. There's a whole spectrum of Islamic connection. But I would say to you that it's religious and civic leaders that have to take the lead in that. The religious leadership and the civic leadership has to be absolutely committed to it. So if you go to Germany, you go to other places where you're going to receive 800,000 refugees, this is a serious human scale situation happening. We were in Dresden this last week, and you're from Germany. Okay, well there you are. Okay. Well, we were in Dresden and we went by the refugee camp on the bus, and the next day they said there were 25,000 people protesting that in that city. Meaning, these are areas of deep concern and deep anxiety as to what's going to happen, especially with Muslim-Christian or Muslim-Jewish interaction. And there's a great deal of distrust, right? Therefore, in my opinion, it's going to have to be religious leaders who step into the gap and actually have the conversations. And you can do it at airports. We can do it at our airport communities. It's a great place to have some of that stuff, simply because what is the airport? It's where a lot of the anxiety resides. The anxiety is right there. I'm going to get on a plane, something's going to happen to me. So I would say the ongoing conversations that I've tried to have conversations in my own neighborhood with the imams in my neighborhood. And we meet periodically, and then we will discuss how we can do things together in other ways. We're not going to worship together. That's just not part of the normal scene. What we are going to do is cooperate in food banks, on community activities that elevate immigration, job creation. All those are areas in which you can make a big difference and be seen as doing it from a common faith background. I can say the same thing out where we are. I'm on Far Rockaway near the airport with the Jewish community and Christian communities are working very closely on some issues out there. Does that help? I mean, I think it's civic leaders, it's locally making sure that the heads of parishes or the heads of synagogues or the heads of mosques are actually talking to one another. On the ground, people are learning how to get along when they contact one another. I see that all the time. I had a parishioner who said, when this very older lady who when it got to be winter, she said, she said the Lutherans never, my own church, nobody ever helps me shovel the snow. Catholic down the street walks right by me. So, but the Muslim guy who lives next door, the first thing he does every morning is get up and shovel my walk. My walk is the first walk that he shovels because he says, I'm here because you're my neighbor, I'm going to help you. And she said that something broke in her. And that man got up at her funeral and gave a tremendous story at that funeral. That's the way this happens on the human level, house by house, block by block, heart by heart. I'm pretty much over my time limit? That's what I hope to do, is always go over my time. Go ahead. You won't charge me. Crazy mixed up Roman Catholic. Okay. The last 3 popes? Yeah. That's true. That's true. Well, I'm happy to be in that company then. Yeah, may the tribe of heretics increase, huh? You know, and if we're not willing to push the boundaries, if we do not willing to push the boundaries for the sake of what we truly believe, for the authentic heart of what we believe, then what good are we? You know, Martin Luther did his thing. I was just over there and I saw some of those heritage sites, but the time has come when we don't just call people names and walk away, but we simply sit down and say it's time for us to have, in the Lutheran perspective, a beer, or you a Coke or a bottle of water or something, and share. And may God bless you all in your ministry, in your work, and in the calling that you have, which I believe to be a tremendously honored calling, privilege for you to serve in this fashion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heretic. George, you want to say?
Bishop, I just wanted to say thank you very much. From the moment you started talking about our role as those who walk towards, those who walk into, you grabbed my attention. And clearly you're someone who's led by example in that, literally, metaphorically, in every possible sense. We have some new merchandise. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's rather... I'd like to present you with what looks very much like... Do you bowl? Well, I think you've got a new bowling bag here, but it's a very unique product. I think you are the first person in the world to actually have that. I talk about respect and thanks and love. Thank you so much.
This is going to call my next flight.
It's not.
That was a great one. Awesome.